I come. I am Jesus. I come to speak to you once again in hopes that these words may be recorded and shared with others. Today I wish to speak about the three minds of each individual. I know this may be surprising to you, but indeed, there are three centers of consciousness within the individual. The first being the material mind with all its linear deductions, its intense emotions and its perceptions and reality deduced from the five senses of the body. The material mind organizes the information given to it from the five senses, and from those things that are implanted within the mind of the individual, for the material mind is the center of memory of the material experiences and information collated and organized within that mind. Indeed, without this mind, one could not survive in the material plane, for it has vital functions and capacities to ensure life and to sustain life, and in some ways to give life meaning. Much has been researched and documented about the material mind, so I will not go further with these details since this information is well known and very well documented. There is also a spirit mind. It is that part of you that you carry within your spirit body and continues to survive your transition from the material plane. In many respects, the spirit mind is identical to the material mind, but it has certain faculties and abilities that are beyond the material, linear perspective. The spirit mind has within it the capacity for deep intuition, to feel things and know things that are beyond that which you might deduce from your material senses and thoughts. It adds to your experience in life and can give you many insights and perceptions that may defy material limitations. It comes into the mind and consciousness of the individual in waves of insight, feeling, and knowings. This is the place where spirit have influence, for they are able to communicate and add their thoughts to those who are receptive to these elements within the spirit body, the mind of the spirit body. Indeed, this is where the thoughts of the individual may be transmitted out into the ethers. The ability to receive and transmit originates within this body and mind. Much happens within this realm of consciousness that is often ignored or misunderstood, for within your earth plane, many are highly focused upon the material, and therefore, render themselves incapable of being aware of these mental activities that are a part of the spirit body. Yet, in many ways, the information that is given reaches the material mind, although often distorted and muffled by the inclination of the material mind to interpret and to collate information so that it may take on a more material manifestation and alignment with the mind's reality. Yet, this communication and these flows of energies are always taking place within the individual, whether they are aware of it or not. Your capacity to be a healing channel is centered within your spirit body. The mind has much to do with this capacity and ability to transmit healing energies into the world. This mind acts as a gatekeeper for energies, flowing into and out through the body. It is highly sensitive and very subtle. Many psychics have learned to tap into this aspect of consciousness, the mind of the spirit body, and have been able to manifest many things and perceive many things through this awareness. Mediumship originates in this part of the individual. There are many qualities and potentials within this mind that humanity is yet to discover or utilize in their daily lives. Yet, as one becomes more spiritually sensitive and evolved, whether that be through the journey of the natural man purified, or that of the soul awakened in divine love, this mind will reveal great capacities and abilities to perceive information and truth that is not readily received through the material mind and its limitations and biases. I take as an example one of your great scientists, Albert Einstein. Much of his insight and ability to transcribe and share information about the material world and the workings of the universe came in this way. He had a deep and powerful ability to attune himself to these elements of information and truth that are available to humanity given their want to explore them. Einstein was a great explorer, possessing a great mind, open and willing to perceive, and to accept the source from which he was inspired and given much information for the benefit of humanity. He became a powerful catalyst to change the thinking and perception of your present modern life and is revered today as a great pioneer of important knowledge. Yet, even that which Einstein gave to the world through his gifts has been perverted and used for destructive means and has created as much instability as stability in your world. This is unfortunate indeed and a good example of the immaturity of humanity and its incapacity to progress wisely so that all is in harmony, rather than the disharmony and darkness that is often caused by the misuse of truth. Every individual has great capacity and potential to understand many things through their spirit mind and its capacities to attune to the many elements of the universe and many layers of reality, which you call dimensions, so that the mind may collect truth and inspiration in its ability to open to these realities. Humanity, however, must mature and come to the realization that they cannot continue to build, create and formulate using primarily the material mind and its limited functions, without including the capacity of the spirit mind and also the mind of the soul. When the subtle and more spiritual parts of humanity are liberated from the oppression of the material mind, then many avenues of insight, many truths and realizations of the functioning of the universe may be revealed to humanity, bringing you all to another level of material existence and understanding. But what has happened in the case of Einstein's discoveries, where these things were perverted into weapons of destruction, which as you know threatens the very existence of this planet, it would not be wise for humanity to go further in these explorations unless there is a time given for the awakening of humanity's spiritual natures. Thus, the mind of the spirit body is often not completely developed and rather immature in its present capacities. Within some there is a great maturity and many gifts awakened within this maturity. But for the vast majority, the capacities of the spirit mind are cloaked and unheard in a conscious way. I have spoken many times of the mind of the soul. This mind has the greatest of capacities and is the most powerful and wondrous of the three minds of the individual. Yet, it too is buried under the many layers of thought and emotional conditions that are manifest through the other two minds of the individual. I have neglected to mention that within the spirit mind reside many feelings and emotions that are of a higher caliber than that of the material mind. This is where the natural love capacities reside. This is where many feelings, whether that be joy or grief, originate from. It is the powerful center for these emotional expressions in one's life. I will return to the mind of the soul. The capacities of perception and of knowing truth that is of God's creation and being reside within this part of one's consciousness, the soul mind. Unless the soul mind is purified and awakened to some degree through this purification, often these abilities are stunted and incapable of translating information, perceptions, and experiences to the conscious self. I have said that there are two ways in which an individual may find the purification of the soul. I will not go into detail as to how one may take these routes towards purification, but I wish to say that in order for the soul mind to be truly awakened and find its true capacities and depth, one must ignite the soul through receiving the great gift of divine love from God. There is no other way to awaken the soul fully. The soul has been given to humanity for this purpose, so that the soul may in time know God from a depth and breadth of understanding that is completely out of reach from the soul that has been merely purified upon the path of the natural man. Indeed, some capacities of the soul and emotions of the soul are realized through the purification process, however. A deeper ability to understand truth comes in this way, but that truth is limited because the finer and more powerful faculties of the soul have not been developed fully. The capacities of this mind are limited by these limitations. Yet, if the soul becomes awakened in the way that I have explained, the divine love ignites and empowers the many faculties of the soul. The faculties and abilities for perception, understanding, and experience that come with a soul awakened dwarf the abilities of the spirit mind and the material mind. A soul mind awakened can perceive deep into the truths of God's universe. A soul mind awakened can know and truly feel that sense of at-one-ment with God. A soul mind awakened has a greater intelligence in every respect than the spirit mind and the material mind combined. In fact, this intelligence is unlimited as progression is unlimited when a soul is transformed by the divine love. We do not know the limitations of the soul mind, for we too continue upon this journey of awakening and at-one-ment with God, so we do not see an end to the abilities and capacities of the soul mind. When a soul is transformed by the divine love and truly awakened and purified and in alignment with God, these other minds of the individual are absorbed by the soul mind and completely integrated. For example, those memories that come within the spirit mind which has absorbed these memories from the material mind are then absorbed by the mind of the soul, fully integrating this information and transforming all into light and harmony. Within the transformation of the soul is a great transformation of consciousness. The capacity of the soul to see, to feel, to hear, to know all reflects the non-material nature of the soul. Hence it is difficult for us to explain this experience firsthand to you because you are using what is primarily the faculties of the material mind in order to understand the information which I speak of, derived from the soul mind. It is for the individual who continues to pray for divine love and seek its transformational power within the soul to experience these things of the soul and to understand from that perspective what soul perception is. I can say that it is multidimensional, where the material mind is linear and deductive and depends upon the five senses to bring it information to be processed. The spirit mind has the capacity for intuition, for memory, for absorption of insights and understanding many things that are of the spirit. These things are only one aspect of the experience of the soul mind when engaged in its awakening, absorbing of truth from God. You may imagine that the consciousness of soul mind are like sections of a sphere and the first two minds are two pieces of it. Yet, there are many more segments of this sphere that are engaged as the soul mind is awakened. Many of you continue to absorb the guidance and teaching that I have given and many others have given. So, you prepare the way to understand these things in a deeper way. You will continue to add bits and pieces of information, to add the many pieces to this great puzzle of understanding God's universe. You will use, to some degree, each mind engaged in this process. As you continue to grow in divine love, so the balance of consciousness shifts from the material to the spiritual and towards the soul. Many of you have discovered some capacities to experience your spiritual reality within the spirit mind, and on rare occasions, a sense of something that has come directly from God into the soul and into your consciousness. It is important that you discern between these different experiences and perceptions, to understand that yes, there are many layers within you, and many capacities and capabilities that exist within you. Few have truly ventured beyond the spirit-mind consciousness. Certainly, many who are engaged in the spirit mind are filled with explanations and spiritual teachings, which they ascribe to this experience. Indeed, as far as this experience goes in terms of understanding through these faculties of the spirit mind, they share truth to others. Unfortunately, Many cannot and will not venture beyond this and are completely convinced that what they perceive and how they perceive it is absolute truth because it has shifted their consciousness beyond that of the material mind plane. Yet there is much more to come and much more to experience in a deeper way, in a wider, more universal way than what they have perceived so far. When the mind of the spirit and the material mind are engaged together, it creates a powerful avenue of understanding while you are upon the earth plane. Many have come to this understanding and have utilized the capacities of both minds to some degree, and have deduced many things from their experience and effort to engage them. In order for this world to be fully healed from all the inequities and darkness within it, the power of the mind of the soul needs to be engaged by humanity. If but a limited number of individuals are engaged in this way, where they have absorbed all the wisdom and ability of these three minds coalesced into one, their ability would be far greater than any individual who may be described as a genius upon your world, for the mind integrated in this way, empowered by the divine love, has a far greater capacity to perceive, to understand, and to share those gifts that are dormant and unused so that they may come to life. That individual may truly be a fount of truth, love, light and wisdom. Though the possibility of such individuals existing upon your earth plane is somewhat limited, still, if these gifts and capacities were developed to some degree, that individual would have a great capacity to lead and teach others towards greater harmony in the world. This is our desire, as you know. It is God's desire that the individual may indeed be developed and awakened in divine love so that these capacities may come to life. An ability to be a true channel of love, wisdom and truth in the world may be realized to a higher degree than what is present now in your world. These things are possible, and given the dedication of the individual in prayer and given the faith that God will indeed implant within them many wondrous blessings. He has already implanted much in the way of abilities, capacities to learn, to grow, to understand, to express, so that with the gift of His love will come deep wisdom, deep love, deep understanding. There is so much that can come with the mind of the soul awakened, absorbing the spirit mind and the material mind, transforming these things in a way that brings alignment with God, harmony, and great compassion and love, for these higher emotions are part of the soul. The soul may amplify and direct this light, this energy, these blessings and expressions out into the world, bringing great light and bring the capacity to uplift and heal, to teach, to bless many as God's channels in the world. When the soul is in alignment with God, the mind is pure in its thoughts, the mind and its capacities go far beyond the human abilities into a realm which reflects more of the divine. Our hope is that in time these truths, this capacity, the awakening of the soul, the expression of a soul awakened in the world will be what will come in the future. We see that light is coming to the world. We see that a great transformation in your world is upon us. We see that God's influence and blessing upon the world are great. We are engaged in this process of transformation through God's guidance and influence upon us. There is much happening that is dynamic and will bring change. We continue to help develop and influence and guide you towards this new light, this transformative expression of God's will, upon the world, so that you will see for yourselves through the eyes of your soul, the understanding of your souls, the wisdom of your souls, what is meant to be in your world and what is meant to be within your inner world. So, these insights continue to come and your understanding continues to grow. You have come to see things differently. Some of you have come to experience spiritual outpourings of truth, whether that be through the mind of your spirit body or your soul mind. I urge you forward, beloved children of God. I urge you forward to continue to eagerly embrace the transformation within, for as you transform, so you have a greater capacity to help God transform the world. You become a beacon of light in the world, a transformer for His energies to flow as His instruments upon the world. May you find your way through these many layers of experiences and understanding. May your minds coalesce into that of the great mind of the soul so that you may see from that heightened perspective, that perception and knowledge and wisdom that reflects the truth of God, the great soul of God, which is a reflection of His truth into your soul, although limited by its development and awakened state. This will grow and continue to flow to you, beloved souls. You are the first of many who will walk upon the earth with higher vision and deeper truth. You will act in love, wisdom, joy, and great compassion. This will be an example for others. You will see how God will use you in many ways and will guide you upon a path that He has predestined for you so that you are in alignment with His great plan for the salvation of humanity and this world. You will know this path because of the vision of your soul, the understandings that will come within your soul. You will have great joy upon this path. You will sense great fulfillment because this path will facilitate the opening of many gifts and abilities within you, many of which you do not know or understand at this time but will come to know and come to express in all harmony and light. You have ascribed to God's will and plan, His blessings and truth, so these things will manifest in many wondrous ways, beautiful and unique. You will come to know the great capacities of your soul mind and express them in powerful ways. So, the gifts that God has given you will begin to emerge and blossom and come to fruition within your life. It is an exciting time, a time of transformation, of change, of awakening. You spearhead this great wave, and you are greatly blessed in this way. You will find what I say to be true, and you will see how you have been guided as you look back upon your life, seeing how God has taken such wonderful care of each of you, embraced in His loving arms, blessed abundantly, protected and guided. So, you will find your way and come to express your true selves. May God bless you on that journey, beloved souls. I thank you for listening to me once again. I come in love and appreciation of all souls upon this earth, for this earth carries a great treasure trove of gifts, of capacities, of wondrous souls who God has created. My hope is that these abilities and potentials will be realized someday, and harmony will come, joy will come, the world will come and be vibrant with life and beauty and light. God bless you, beloveds. I am Jesus. My love is with you all. God bless you.